We can and we should be inspired by examples of other people who have gone before us, who have set the tone, people that we could look up to and that can be an example for us to follow. And so I was, as I looked at these different people, was greatly encouraged and greatly inspired. When you begin to have a philosophy or a worldview in your mind that though you're in your 40s or your 50s or your 60s, that your best days are ahead of you, that you have more opportunities, that encourages you and motivates you forward. And I hope that these individuals will be that kind of motivation for you. Example number one, Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc was a paper cup salesman. He was a musician, and he was a milkshake mixer salesman also before he entered into his next career. In 1954, he visited a hamburger stand that was owned by Richard and Maurice McDonald. Kroc was impressed by the efficiency and the work that these two brothers showed to him. Ray Kroc convinced the brothers to allow him to franchise the system that they had, and that created McDonald's Restaurant, which has become a multi-million dollar company. And Ray Kroc started that franchise when he was 52. Example number two, Colonel Sanders held a number of jobs when he was younger. He was a steam engine stoker. He worked as an insurance salesman. He also was a filling station operator. He began selling fried chicken on his roadside restaurant and developed a secret recipe for his chicken. He patented this method of cooking with a special pressure fryer and recognized that he could go into also a franchise, which Colonel Sanders started at the age of 65. You know, each of these examples I'm giving to you, I'm giving because I want to encourage you. That's what this channel is all about. I want to encourage people in their life, especially in the second part of life. And I want to ask you to be a part of that. I want to ask you to think about doing three things. One is to give me the thumbs up. This is important on YouTube. And if you are enjoying and are encouraged by this content, would you give me the thumbs up? The second thing is I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. If you want to receive a reminder and to be notified when there's a new video out, just click that subscribe button. The third thing I want you to do is to think about maybe there's somebody that you know that can be encouraged by this content. Maybe somebody that's in the second part of their life and they're going through challenges, they're wondering what they're going to do, and they would benefit from this content. You can click that share button on the bottom of the screen and you can share it by sending a text to somebody or you can send an email. Would you do that? My desire is to reach as many people with this good news and the idea that we have so much to enjoy and so much to offer in the second part of our life. And I thank you for doing that. Example number three, Benjamin Franklin was a writer, he was a scientist, he was an inventor, he did a number of things in his early life. He was among the leading intellectuals of his time, and he played a crucial role in the founding of our nation, providing input and the courage to stand and to declare our independence. He was one of the writers of the Declaration of Independence, and he did all that at the age of 70. Number four, Dorothy Davenhill Hearst decided that she wanted to go to the North Pole. She faced extreme conditions in a barren wasteland of temperatures going as low as negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That adventure that she took faced brutally cold weather and harsh conditions. And she did that at the age of 89. She was, for a time, in the Guinness Book of World Record for the holder of the oldest person to go to the North Pole. That reminds me of a woman that we knew when we were living in Los Angeles and going to church there. There was an elderly couple, Bill and Doris Lent, that were then in their 70s, and they were such an example to me of a gentleness and a caring for other people. But there was one other thing that was amazing that startled me and has been an inspiration for me. Doris's husband, Bill, passed away, and Doris, for her 80th birthday, decided that she was going to go skydiving. I still remember that. That still encourages me and challenges me to think about the second half of my life and the things that I can do to realize that there is great potential and there really is very few things that I should allow to hold me back. Example number 5, John Williams. We were recently in Los Angeles and we had a chance to go to the Hollywood Bowl to see a John Williams concert that played a lot of his music, for example, from the Indiana Jones series and the Star Wars series. He has done amazing work through the years and so many musical scores, and he just recently completed the musical score for the most recent Indiana Jones movie. John Williams just turned 90 years old. And he said, 10 more years to go, I'll still stick around for a while. I love that, at 90 years old. Example number 6 is from Moses in the book of Exodus. Moses had 40 years in the wilderness, and then God called him to rise up as a leader to lead the children of Israel into the promised land with all the difficulties and the hardships and the frustrations of that. When Moses was called to go and lead the people, he was 80 years old. I love the verse in Deuteronomy 34 that describes Moses. It says that he lived to the age of 120, and his eyes were not weak, and his strength was not gone. What a great example when we begin to think about our lives and we think about the limitations that we could have in our lives. Sometimes we have limitations as we get older. But the thing that we have to begin to do is factor in these inspiring examples of people. And as you look at your own life and think, for example, maybe there's some project or some work or some business that you need to start. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you can't think to yourself, nope, I'm too late. I'm just going to coast. I'm just going to take it easy. Maybe you need to break out of the mentality that I've had my younger years. I'm too old for that. I can't handle that. Maybe there's some people that you need to impact in similar way that John Williams has impacted so many people with his music, or Moses led people at the age of 80. Who is it that you can have an impact on? Who is it that you can influence and that you can encourage? C.S. Lewis said, "You are never too old to set a new goal or to dream a new dream." I hope that these examples inspire you to think outside the box, to think about your life in bigger terms, to look at the opportunities and the things that are before you, to not be limited by your thinking and by what you view as your age and what your abilities are now. There are so many opportunities and so many things that we can be involved in to make a difference in the world and to really enjoy life and to see all that life has to give us. I hope that you're encouraged by this and that you remember that the best is yet to come.